Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Discovery History. Today, we're presenting a very special episode because we're talking about the life and history of one of Earth's most important person in the fight against racism and segregation, Nelson Mandela. Nelson became famous for his unstoppable fight against apartheid, one of the worst segregation politics of the entire history, and for being the first black president of South Africa. But let's talk about it later. First, I want you to know a little more about his history. Then, let's go.
Nelson Rolichaza Mandela was born in a small rural village in Mfetso, Mthatha. On his first day of school, he was given the name Nelson by his teacher, Miss Mingan. Nelson's father was a leader of his tribe, what gave Nelson the opportunity of going to university and some other privileges. Nelson went to Fort Hare University, but he was expelled after leading a group of students on a political strike. At the age of 23, Nelson refused to accept his position as the leader of his tribe and went to Johannesburg, where he started to work as a lawyer and became his political action. Nelson was the leader of the ANC, the oldest black political organization in South Africa. Mandela's mission at the ANC was to unite African people and out of them build a nation. In 1948, the nationalist government was voted into power and the apartheid was officialized. Different races were now divided by law in South Africa. Mandela and the ANC struggled to fight against the government and gathered lots of peaceful strikes against apartheid. They were fighting to create a country where everyone was treated equally. In 1962, Mandela was captured and charged with leaving the country illegally. Shortly afterwards, his comrades at ANC were captured with evidence which incriminated Mandela. He and another black man were sentenced to life imprisonment at Robben Island. While Mandela was in prison, other leaders of all races and all parts of the world campaigned for change. They showed their horror against apartheid and their support for the struggle.
Friends of this boycott is for the people of Britain to register on the widest possible scale their passionate protest against an evil and repulsive doctrine which says that a man's legal status, a man's political rights, a man's economic opportunities, a man's social position shall depend solely upon the color of his skin.
In the late 1980s, amid a tide of war pressure, the South African government was forced to accept the inevitable and began dismantling apartheid. In 1990, at the age of 71, Mandela was finally released from jail and walked to his freedom.
I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. I place the remaining years of my life in your hands.
In 1994, Mandela was elected the first black president of South Africa and the first free and democratic election of that country. He continued to fight against discrimination and gave all his time to the African people. After he was released from jail, he did his best to make the life of the South African people as good and fair as it could be. Mandela died on December 3, 2013, at the age of 95. His legacy will never be forgotten, and he will always be one of the symbols of the fight against racism and any kind of segregation.